This is All India Radio. You will now hear comments from the press. Delhi elections and JNU issue are prominently covered by most of the dailies in their editorial. The Statesman, in its editorial titled Poll-Bound Capital, writes, "The countdown has begun for an interesting electoral battle in Delhi, with the Election Commission announcing the schedule for the assembly election. In a month from now, the capital will choose its government for the next 5 years." The paper comments the confrontationist chief minister, who was constantly on a coalition course with the centre and its representative, the lieutenant governor, a couple of years ago, has been replaced by a mellow politician. This change occurred after the 2019 Lok Sabha election verdict, when the AAP perhaps realized that it was best to consolidate its gains and focus on Delhi rather than spread the party's wing to other parts of the country. The Times of India, in its editorial titled Capital Choices, writes, "Delhi is poised for a head-on clash between Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, with BJP shying from naming a Chief Minister face. After a series of electoral reverses for its incumbent state governments, BJP has the opportunity to take advantage of anti-incumbency if it exists, but AAP can boast of improvements in public infrastructure with no corruption taint on its record." The Hindu, in its editorial titled A Battle Over Welfare, writes, "Delhi is expected to reprise the three-cornered electoral fight. The Aam Aadmi Party will now seek to stand on its governor's record. Bharatiya Janata Party will hope that, alike in Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Haryana, the legions of voters who supported it in the Lok Sabha election will not transfer their votes to its competitors, while the Congress will seek to regain the support of the UT's poorer and marginalized sections, most of whom shifted allegiance to the AAP in 2015. The Asian Age, in its editorial titled Modi-Kejri Battle of Goodwill, writes, "Despite looking at anti-incumbency, the Aam Aadmi Party government's performance in the education, health and amenities sectors puts it on a strong wicket. All said and counted, this election will ultimately be a battle of goodwill between Prime Minister Modi and Mr. Kejriwal." The Pioneer, in its editorial All Eyes in Delhi Darbar, calls the elections as a litmus test. The editorial says there can be no doubt that AAP has shown incremental success in converting the old rhetoric of Bijli, Sadak and Pani of its predecessors into the Delhites' new aspirations. It has set the nation's agenda in education reforms by allocating 26% of budget to education. The Asian Age, in its editorial titled Pre-Planned Hit on JNU Needs a Thorough Probe, writes, "The stakes are evidently high. Any police, government or internal JNU investigation can only be a shame when the attackers, the police and key elements of the administration are on the same page. An independent probe is needed, but one seems highly unlikely for now." The Indian Express, in its editorial Who's Police, comments that the police action in Jamia Millia Islamia during CAA protest and the inaction in JNU on Sunday have cast a shadow over the forces. The crackdown in Jamia ignited student protest in campuses across India, so it will be keenly watched how Delhi police handles the JNU probe. The Pioneer, under the heading CDS Doctors' Oath, raises the issue of doctors treating injured JNU students. It writes, "The Indian Medical Association has come out against the violence at JNU in strong terms, as AIIMS doctors and nurses were stopped by goons from attending to injured students." The Tribune, in its second editorial, Fair and Unfair FIRs, says onus is on the central government to get a free and fair inquiry completed at the earliest so as to dispel the misconceptions. In its another editorial, Pangs of Separation, the paper lauds the Punjab and Haryana High Court order in favor of wives in distress. The court will pave the way for providing distressed wives financial assistance in the interim period while the divorce case is on. To end with the Indian Express tailpiece, Less Work, More Play, where Finland's young Prime Minister Sanna Marin has given a call for 4-day working week with more time for leisure. The paper says, though it is an old idea since movement for fewer working hours has been building up for years in many prosperous economies, but its time may have come finally. Those were the comments